My thoughts on the new Fantastic Four trailer. I have a pleasant, warm, treasured memory. My daughter and I had just finished watching Peter Jackson's first Lord of the Rings movie, The Fellowship of the Ring. It was 2001. She would have been 8 years old. I had just turned 30. We were incredibly happy with the movie. It had been absolutely everything we've hoped for and more. I distinctly remember turning to her and saying, "We are so very lucky. You are growing up in a time when movies can be made out of the very best fantasy and sci-fi stories, and they actually look good. Technology has finally caught up with the imagination of artists. They will be able to make all of our favorite stories come to life in realistic and gorgeous films." You see, I grew up on a steady diet of 70s and 80s movies and TV shows that, although they meant well and tried hard, just looked rather ridiculous. Not the fault of movie makers, just the limitations of the technology of the time. After seeing the first of Peter Jackson's trilogy in 2001, it was game on. Or so we thought. If you were to go back in time and tell the two of us, as we exited the theater, giddy with excitement for the amazing future of movies, that we were about to be hit with Battlefield Earth, 18 versions of Spider-Man, more of Batman, DC Comics mistakes, awful, idiotic X-Men movies, and we wouldn't believe you. Game of Thrones was an absolute joy to watch for a few years, but other than that, the fantasy genre has been strangely empty, except for moronic failures like Harry Potter and Dungeons and Dragons. If you would have told us that both Star Trek and Star Wars would be so bad that anyone with any self-respect simply refuses to watch, even for free, we would not have believed you. If you would have told us that Hollywood spent billions on embarrassingly bad remakes of beloved IPs like Ghostbusters, Robin Hood, Annie, Ghost in the Shell, Karate Kid, on and on and on, we would not have believed it. And here we are, 25 years later. Yet another attempt at yet another Fantastic Four movie. This time, they will get it right. This time, it will be great. Nope. Politics over character is the name of the game. Moral preaching over story. Female power fantasy over a good plot. The use of movies as propaganda is disappointing, but not terribly surprising. But the lack of good special effects, of spectacle, is both disappointing and surprising. Are blue-haired feminazi writers really so expensive that you have no money left over for CGI? That seems odd. Enough people online have pointed out the massive failings of this movie, but I have a question that I do not hear being raised. Why is Marvel putting so much into one movie? The name of the movie is literally First Steps. Galactus is already walking down the street in New York in the very first movie of a supposed franchise, in quotation marks. That is stupid. Sue Storm is already pregnant? Ridiculous. The most successful thing Marvel, or anyone else for that matter, has ever done in the movie industry is build up to Avengers Endgame over many years and almost 24 movies with tie-ins, hints, Easter eggs, and post-credit scenes. That was fun. I remember waiting patiently as everyone else was leaving to see Agent Coulson discovering Mjolnir at the bottom of a crater. Galactus is about the biggest bad ever, in every way. A smart way to go about a Fantastic Four reboot is to have them fight a few smaller villains. Get to know the characters. Let the actors own and inhabit the characters. Slow burn over many movies. Build. Franklin Richards coming would be news at some point. Galactus a far-off threat. We watched Game of Thrones loyally for 8 years. Did you people learn nothing? Making movies in this way is so old-fashioned. It is production by committee. No vision. They want the engagement to be up, so they put in the fan service items, things that people will recognize. The first movie does not hit hard enough. They spent too much money and now are too scared to make any more. Sound familiar? They used all the known characters in the first one. They have nowhere to go except another reboot. Is having a plan really that hard? Apparently so. No one in the entire Disney mega corporation seems to be able to do it.